Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to unlock the hidden potential of a tool that, a lot of us use almost every day. We're going from a plain old spreadsheet to what is basically a genuine data superpower.
So let's just dive right in with this idea. What if that superpower is Microsoft Excel? Because it's not just for making lists or simple budgets anymore. It's packed with these incredible tools that can help you manage, interpret, and present really critical data to make much smarter decisions.
Okay, first, let's talk about a problem I think we all face, the data deluge. We are just swimming in information, right? From business metrics to our own personal finances, it can get pretty overwhelming fast.
This quote just hits the nail on the head. Imagine a company, we'll call them World Corp. They have these gigantic databases filled with customer info, shipping costs, sales history, all of it. But all that information is totally useless without some real analysis. The actual goal here is to turn all that raw data into wisdom. So how do we even begin? Well, before you can do any kind of cool analysis, the very first, most critical step is to tame the chaos. And that means making sure our data is clean, it's reliable, and it's organized. Because here's the thing, garbage in, garbage out. If your data isn't valid, your analysis won't be either.
Taming that chaos really starts with understanding what kind of data you're even looking at. And generally, it falls into two big camps. On one side, you've got your qualitative data. That's all the descriptive, categorical stuff. Like a customer review that says a product is wonderful. Then, on the other side, you have quantitative data, which is all about the numbers, like giving that same product a 5-star rating. And we can break down that quantitative or number-based data even further. You've got discrete data, which is for things you can count, like the number of customers in a store. You can't have half a customer, right? And then you've got continuous data, which is for things you measure, like a person's weight. That can be any value within a certain range. Just knowing the difference between these two helps you pick the right tools for the job later on. So how do we make sure our data is actually high quality? We do that through something called data validation. And I love this analogy. It really is like a bouncer for your spreadsheet. It checks every single entry at the door to make sure it's accurate and it actually belongs there. This is what stops those little errors that can cause huge, costly mistakes down the line. And Excel has these really simple but super powerful tools for exactly this. For instance, if you've got a data set with thousands of employees, trying to find a duplicate entry by hand, that would be an absolute nightmare. But with the Remove Duplicates tool, it's a simple 5-step process that takes like seconds. This is a really fundamental step in turning that chaotic data into orderly, reliable information. All right, so once you have clean data, this is where the fun part begins, asking questions. This is where we move beyond just having information to actually discovering relationships, exploring all kinds of possibilities, and finding real, tangible insights. And one of the most powerful ways to do this is with something called what-if analysis. Honestly, this feature is a total game changer, especially for things like contingency planning and forecasting. It lets you build out models and test all these different scenarios without ever touching your original data. This is exactly the kind of critical question that what-if analysis helps you answer. A business can play around and see how changing two different things at once, like the price and the sales volume, affects their bottom line. It's almost like having a crystal ball for your business strategy. And this just illustrates its power perfectly. So the Scenario Manager tool can whip up a summary just like this one. Right here, we can instantly compare how a different interest rate or maybe a shorter loan term changes a mortgage. You see the monthly payment and the total cost for every single option, all laid out in one easy-to-read table. This makes those really complex financial decisions so much easier to get your head around. We can also hunt for those hidden connections using stats. The correlation tool in Excel's data analysis tool pack is awesome for this. It measures the relationship between two variables. Basically, if the result is close to +1, it means when one thing goes up, the other tends to go up too. If it's near -1, one goes up as the other goes down. And if it's near 0, well, there's no real link. It's a super quick way to test your assumptions, like seeing if a lower price really leads to higher sales. Okay, so finding insights is one thing, but you have to be able to communicate them. Your analysis is pretty much useless if you can't tell a compelling story with it. So let's look at how Excel helps you turn all those numbers into a clear, persuasive narrative. And the undisputed star of this particular show is the pivot table. Seriously, this thing is like magic. It's an incredibly powerful feature that lets you take a massive, intimidating spreadsheet and just instantly summarize it.
You can group, sort, and calculate data on the fly, transforming thousands of rows of raw data into a neat, understandable table.
But the real magic happens when you visualize that summary. With just a single click, a pivot table can become a chart, just like this one. And all of a sudden, you're not staring at a wall of numbers anymore. You're seeing a really clear comparison of sales by product category. It's the perfect way to make complex information instantly digestible for anyone.
And to make your reports even more user-friendly, you can add what are called slicers. Think of them like big, friendly filter buttons. So instead of dealing with complicated drop-down menus, anyone, and I mean anyone, even someone who doesn't really know Excel, can just click a button to filter the report and see exactly the data they need. It makes your whole analysis interactive and accessible to everybody.
Okay, let's bring all of this together. We've walked through how to clean up your data, how to analyze it, and then how to present it. And these aren't just a few neat tricks. This is a genuine professional superpower.
So we've just completed the entire data journey from start to finish. We started out with messy, chaotic information. We cleaned it up. We started asking it questions using tools like what-if analysis. We found those hidden relationships. And then finally, we visualized the insights to tell a clear, data-driven story. This, right here, is the core process of business analytics.
And look, mastering this journey has real, tangible value. Professionals who can do this, people like management analysts, they are in super high demand. In fact, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, these roles command pretty high salaries, and the field is expected to grow significantly over the next 10 years. This is a skill set that really, truly pays off. So here's the bottom line. Data is literally everywhere, and it is always telling a story. The power to unlock those stories, to find that wisdom that's hidden inside the numbers, well, that power is very likely already installed on your computer. The only real question is, are you ready to listen?